Weird Realities Network presents Blondes, Books, and Campfire Tales, where we pull up a log, roast a marshmallow, and settle in as these two blondes talk spooky tales, urban legends, and classic horror icons. Exciting guests, perky blondes, and sinister tales makes this podcast as good as a double stack s'more. So let's join Bethany and Krystal as they gather around the campfire in Blondes, Books, and Campfire Tales. Hi, guys.
I just want to say, obviously, welcome to the show, but Londa, thanks for saying something, because Bethany was back here being like, it's fine, I can take my time. And then she's like, how do we have a comment already? So thank you. You got a fire under her. Welcome to Blondes, Books, and Campfire Tales.
Yeah, no, hold on. There's Rikki.
Hello.
I was showing Krystal my latest, person I was talking to.
Who she's talking to. She's more interested in dating than in the show, you guys. I just want to
not even dating. I just,
Oh man.
I'm very lonely.
Oh.
And Indy only does so much, okay? So I talk to people, and I was very excited about the person that I'm talking to right now. So I was showing her pictures about who I was talking to.
Gotcha.
What's up, Rikki?
Hi. I literally just got into town.
Literally. So anyway, welcome to Blondes, Books, and Campfire Tales. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Londa, who's calling us out. I know we did not announce what we were going to do for our show, but we finally decided on what we're going to do for our show, which is we're going to talk about paranormal and fantasy books. All subgenres included.
Oh, so does that include the romantasy? Is that what you call
Yeah.
it?
Oh, okay. I wasn't bringing that in, but sure, we can.
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
You have to discuss a romantasy book. I was just asking.
Now I gotta find it. It's over there.
Okay, well, you can go get it. Wait, we got to look for Bigfoot now, too. Sasquatch. I don't know where he's at. I don't know. I got to make the screen bigger. Oh, okay, over there.
He's over there.
Okay. Well, Lana's like, I can do what I can. And Dan's here. Pretty much. Okay. Well, since we started on that subgenre right there, the paranormal romance, do you guys have like a favorite paranormal romance that you guys like at all, or that sticks out to you?
I mean, I don't know if I have a specific favorite paranormal romance book. I guess if we're talking about like paranormal romance, it would be more like a series for me. Yeah, I don't either, Londa. I'm not sure. I know which direction he is because Rikki was indicating with his head, but I don't know where Bigfoot is either.
Wait, I'm gonna make the screen. Oh, he's by the pillow.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Look that way by the pillow.
We need to name him Waldo now. Or Carmen.
I love that all of us are so invested in Sasquatch right now.
Yeah, it's just like, where is he? Until I know I can't continue.
And the fact that, Londa, you are hopping back and forth between YouTube and Facebook right now, you're throwing me off.
Supernatural.
So paranormal romance. Do you guys have
what Rikki went grabbed his book, so that's
I have these.
Dark Elves Taken in a Salvation.
Ooh.
They're very muscular.
They are.
Well, yeah. So essentially their lore is that the Dark Elves are only male, and so to procreate, they basically have to steal women from the humans, and then they eventually, become Dark Elves, and then they can procreate, and they're going to be male offspring, but that's kind of how they do their thing. So that's why they're seen as kind of evil in the world, because they're constantly stealing human women. And yeah, but then you get into like their cultural stuff and everything. And there's a lot that's covered. So, yeah. It's almost like 50 Shades of Drow or something.
50 Shades of what?
Drow is a dark elf. That's what they're known as, Drow.
50 Shades of Drow. As long as, like, okay, they steal the women. As long as, they get consent for the procreation, I'm okay with it.
They do, yeah. So, well, it's almost Stockholm-ish in a way, but
I'm going to say steal
it's also,
and consent don't go hand in hand right there.
You're right. But it's a matriarchal society.
It's matriarchal, but only men are born.
Yeah.
How do they do that?
Yeah, I'm so interested.
It's magic. But I mean,
it's magic.
I think in this lore, I mean, this was a couple years back when I read it. Well, in fact, I've got dust all over now as a result. So, in their lore, I think like their goddess was pissed off at something, or they had slighted them in some way, and so she cursed him with only having male progeny. Is kind of a way to decimate them, but they found a way around it by turning humans into drow, into dark elves.
Yeah. Just to appease Londa, if it will let me. Okay, there we go. Here he is.
And he's all about the cat butt right now.
He's almost like he's a cat mustache.
I tried to tell someone I was talking to. I was like, I don't think you guys understand that the cats are the stars of the show right now. Like, no one watches us. They just want the cat cam going on.
I mean, Indy likes it that way. So
he's like, I don't know, this cat. I don't know. We'll just leave him to himself.
But we got onto the whole romantasy because it was kind of a mean joke that I found at one point, and it was funny. So,
are we going to share with the class?
I'm not sure I can even find it anymore. It was whatever I sent at one point.
The little video you sent to us.
Yeah. Because that's why we were like, or we can do that.
Yeah.
May not be fully appropriate.
Yeah. It was. I mean, I can share it on the page later.
There you go.
Sure.
It was a video, so that people can watch it if they want to. It's definitely not suitable for work, though. I don't believe.
Work? This is work?
No, I'm just saying, like, because it's not.
People watching this at work.
Yeah, don't play it at work. We're your boss mate here.
I mean, somebody comes by and they see on screen, us three, and then down below it says cat butt. So, I mean.
I don't know what goes on in people's jobs, but I'm just saying the little video that you shared that got us onto romantasy. I don't remember everything he said, but I just don't think everything he said was suitable for work.
Right.
Yeah. It was. Have you really not heard that phrase before, Bethany?
No.
And
actually, neither did I. I thought that was.
Heard that? Like, what? What is this like? How can you have never heard that?
Sorry. My screen is going crazy right now, and it's a little behind. So if I respond a little later, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to go back and forth between everything that's happening on my screen right now.
Green.
What?
Nothing.
Wait, what?
Nothing. I said, sure, it's the screen, but
don't do that. Well, I mean, there's a few other factors involved, but we'll just leave those to the imagination. I have not read fairy smut at all, but I feel like that's a really cool genre.
Yeah, my favorite fairy smut, it might be basic of me, but my favorite fairy smut is Mary Gentry by Laurel K. Hamilton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I feel like it's the original reverse harem series.
Okay, but emphasize that a little more because the names sound familiar. I know Laura K. Hamilton by the Anita Blake novels, but Make me remember the other ones right there.
So Mary Gentry is a fairy princess, and her aunt is the queen, and she pits her and her cousin against each other, and whoever procreates first is going to inherit the throne.
Okay.
So she has her little male harem of male fairies that they're just constantly having. I mean, there's other stuff going on in the books too, but it's a lot of fairy sex trying to procreate. Yeah.
So these are fairies?
Yeah.
So I know I read that like a long time ago, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because she sounds very familiar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She started.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to do this now.
In that series, Dan, is Kiss of Shadows.
Please.
No, I'm going to totally encourage your dad to read the fairy smut.
Only 100%. Because I know I will be the very first phone call that he has, and then Rikki will be the second. and our brother Tom will just be clueless in all of this.
Hold on, I got another one. Hold on, this might work too.
Oh, God.
This is actually one that Dad did read.
But
I gave it to Dad to read.
But I think, like, the Mary Gentry series, I think she started writing in the 90s, but that one, because, like, Anita Blake, she's written, like, 20 plus books in that series, but Mary Gentry...
There's so much.
So many. I think she just published the 9th or 10th one in the Mary Gentry series. She doesn't publish that one as often. So, yeah.
All right, so it's not romantasy. It's actually... Well, of course, it's there. We go.
Oh,
okay.
So it's actually more of a.
Read that one too. Make sure your sex life is staying healthy.
Okay, yeah, actually, it is about health and stuff. It's more on mental couples. Just in general, positive vibes and such. That's basically what it's about. Communication, that sort of thing. It's more of a psychological, or psychology type thing. So it's actually a good one to read for in general.
Yeah.
No, I 100% was not being sarcastic about what I said, but I was saying it because I know it makes Bethany uncomfortable.
I got my little fidget guy. It's being worked so hard right now.
Okay, so Londa, I was actually banned from YouTube, my channel, because I was showing videos, or I was playing. I would do playthroughs of games, indie games, and some of them were erotica type games. So
okay, hold on, because I remember you calling me one time, and you go, "Hey, can you see if you can watch my videos?" Because apparently our nephew Zachary, who was underage, had hacked the system and somehow was able to get on and see your videos somehow.
Because I had made sure that it was age locked. And the reason Zach was able to see this was because the dude is the son of a hacker. A computer tech dude.
I'm like, look at who his dad is.
I know, Zachary. Meanwhile, Rikki, John's all, "Hey guys." So Londa mentions this series right here. Let me see if I can post it. Quinn.
Sounds familiar.
I've heard that, but I haven't read it yet.
Grey Wolf series, yeah.
So adding it to the list. You're not the only one taking notes, Londa.
Well, Londa said kids will find a way, and Alan says, "Hey, what's up, Alan? We're talking fairy smut, apparently, and we're discovering a lot of new things about each other."
And romantasy.
Romantasy. I read some demon smut.
Say that 5 times fast.
I couldn't even say it one time.
Not our viewers suddenly skyrocketing all of a sudden.
Until we get banned.
No, like, it was for a book club. It was demon smut. I think it was called Her Soul to Take. Hold on.
That was a movie. My Soul to Take. That was the movie. My Soul to Take.
Or take.
That's not what I read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll find it.
So okay,
but
it
was really dark.
Yeah, well,
but it was about a demon, so
that kind of makes sense. So the paranormal romances that I remember are like obviously the Anita Blake series. I feel like we've all read the Anita Blake series.
Yeah.
But what resonated with me was the fact that she emphasized and she went into so much detail of this woman, Anita Blake, making coffee every single morning, like grinding
in her penguin mugs.
Huh?
In her penguin mugs. Sorry.
Yeah, like she made coffee with her penguin mugs and then she went for a jog. And I'm just like, you know what? I respect that. Like this woman has standards and she's got like a set thing that she's doing right there. And I fully respected that.
Well, in the first several books, she's constantly being, forced into the hospital, for, just because she gets banged up a lot. Blood and gore violence style because she fights stuff.
So,
and there she was, pissed off at the fact that, the ambulance, instead of just removing her harness, her sword harness and flakjack or whatever she's wearing, they always cut it all up and she's having to constantly remake those things and it costs money.
Yeah. I know. Like, I understand Anita Blake makes pretty decent money because she's like the best zombie raiser there is. But like, she spends so much of it just replacing all the stuff that they fuck up all the time.
Yeah. So for anyone who has not read the Anita Blake series, she is a necromancer and she is paid to raise the dead. Basically like, hey, who killed you? And the family can raise the dead to find out the answers and stuff. She becomes involved with a werewolf and a vampire. So very much like the Sookie Stackhouse novels.
Yeah, it's a triangle.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah.
They're the pirate. Oh, I don't know if I'm saying that right because I've only ever read it. So if I pronounce it, it's what happens when you learn words by reading.
Wait, what was the word?
Triumvirate.
Oh, triumvirate?
There you go.
There you go.
Sorry.
I was very clear. My pronunciation could be wrong. I've never heard the word said out loud before.
Yes, the pronunciation was incorrect.
Well, now you have.
You figured out what I was saying.
Yes,
to be fair, I did not know that either, Krystal.
Sorry.
When you learn words by reading, you could. It's like, oh my gosh, I was just watching How I Met Your Mother the other day, and Ted was like the chameleon. Instead of chameleon or chameleon. I think that's what he said. Chameleon. He was a great chameleon. Thank you. I knew people would get it. Like,
to be fair, our grandpa on our dad's side, and I think he did it on purpose, would pronounce the K for knife and stuff. So, it's a knife.
I think he just did it as a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But okay, Anita Blake, she was very like, she was kind of a badass originally. Okay, this was my issue with the series. All right. She was a badass.
I think it's everybody's issue. Yeah.
Yeah. And she like she owned herself. Like she had her business, she had her priorities. That's what she had. But it became so sexually oriented and just like half the books was just deep explicit sex on things that I was like, this has taken over the plot of the story.
Yeah.
Instead of like an accent to it, it's the whole story. And after like book, I don't know, 20 something, I was like, I'm done. Like this is just.
Oh, I didn't even make it that far. Holy crap.
I currently I'm trying to get caught up. I'm currently on possibly book 11, Narcissus in Chains.
Oh yeah.
And my issue with this one, and like what you said, because like the first 6 books in this series, there's no sex at all, and then it like slowly comes in, but then it becomes where it's like so much about sex.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's been a while since I read the book, so I was like, well, I'm just going to start at the beginning and then get caught up to where they are now, which is book 20 something. Oh no, I think she published book 30 last year.
Dang.
So I have a while to go.
I thought there was maybe 5 books. Okay.
No, there's so
no,
many.
but like with this one, I'm like this one, and but like with Narcissus in Chains in particular, it's not so much that there's so much sex. There's just so much conversation and no action.
Yeah.
It's all conversation. And I'm like, where'd the action go?
That's the thing, Londa, is you keep thinking it's going to eventually get somewhere because the first few books were so good.
Yeah.
That you're like, there's got to be a point. And then
I wonder if she's not the one who's actually writing it. Maybe she's got underwriters.
Well, I follow her on social media, and I'm pretty sure she's the one that's writing it because she will post about her writer's block and stuff. So
yeah.
So I'm pretty sure. But then so if you go to read the Mary Gentry series, with the basis of the series being whoever gets pregnant first wins, obviously sex is going to be involved a lot from the beginning. But I haven't, I think I've read the first 4 or 5 of that one. And like I said, I think she just published book 9. So I'll get caught up on that one eventually too. But there's stuff going on with it because her, the sex is part of the war. So it all intertwines.
Yeah.
So on those that I read. And I just want to go back to the Demon Smut for a second. The book is called Her Soul to Take by Harley LaRoe. And as I was looking to verify that, I scrolled past my Peter Pan smut. Talk about fairy smut. Everybody is over age in this version of Peter Pan. Let's be clear, there are no children involved. They're immortal and they don't age, but they're adults.
There you go. There you go.
Peter,
So back to the Anita Blake series and such. Yeah. With the explicit sex stuff kind of as a side thing, a lot of the stories, what interested me actually was you had all these were creatures. It wasn't just a werewolf. You had, an entire pantheon. And, you had one of them was swans, were swans, and things like that, and cats. And she becomes, the matron of all the were cats or lions or something that they had, there and stuff. So there's all that, which was really cool, which got me onto another series, which is a lot better off. In fact, they did a comic of it with shoot, now I can't think of the name. Hold on, it's Patricia Briggs.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's a good series.
Well, this is actually Alpha and Omega series, but I mean the Mercy Thompson. That's who it is.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Mercy Thompson.
Yeah,
that's a good series.
And that one, similarly has basically a triumvirate a little bit at the beginning with vampires and werewolves, and she's more. I mean, she's a Native American shifter as opposed to a were. And they make differences and all that. And there's a lot of fairies involved, and the fae is a big thing in there. Some of the other monsters that are from other Gaelic stuff and things like that. So it's great because there's a lot more. It's broader. There's a lot more to be playing with, and it's a lot more fun.
One of the things I really like about just the paranormal and fantasy genre in general is how much research you can tell that these authors have done into all these legends and myths that have been around for thousands of years, and how they all put their own spin on it. They're all working from the same basic legends, and you can tell that when you're reading them, but then it's just this completely different take, and I just love it. It's so much fun. What's this fairy going to do?
I'm going to do a few honorable mentions, I guess. Okay. Londa has a few.
Ooh, Sherilyn Kenyon, yes.
Mm-hmm. The Dark Hunter series.
Good one.
And then, I guess this is the same series. She keeps bringing it up.
I mean, it's worth bringing. I'm I have some Sherilyn Kenyon. Well, I mean, I have a lot of them. I don't think that she's in Reach, though, actually. And then another one, Kelly Armstrong, the Women of the Otherworld series.
That's what I was about to look up. I really like that series because every single book is a different character, but they all interact and they're all like strong, just independent women who just kick ass. Like they're either psychics or werewolves or ghosts or
vampires.
Yeah, vampires. Like there's so
necromancers
or something. Necromancers. Yeah, they all have a story to tell and they all interact and they all just dominate. Like, yeah, there's men involved and there's some paranormal romance, but the whole story itself is literally a story. Like there's a plot, everything. The one where it was the witch's daughter, I read these a long time ago. And she had to like bust out of the facility that was like holding them as a like test subjects and stuff like that. I mean, it's very like Buffy the Vampire Slayers.
I think that was the second book in the series.
Yeah, but like they're pretty, like those women are pretty badass. And the werewolf one, she is so pissed off that she got turned into a werewolf.
Yeah, and that series turned into a TV show for a little bit. Bitten.
It did, but it was
on
very
sci-fi,
CW.
I believe.
Yeah, like CW TV show where it's like, you know, just all about sex and teenage angst and stuff like that.
And it only followed in my opinion, this is part of why it was only
Elena, right?
Seasons. It only followed Elena, the werewolf. And so it followed like her rise to becoming the alpha of the pack, where like the book series, because it does do that, where it's like, you know, like a couple books are from Elena's point of view, a couple books are Savannah's, a couple books are Jamie Vegas's. Like, it just, you know, they were able to do so much more with the books, and they were like, they really like cornered themselves in with the TV series.
See, that's what I like, is I like books that have the plot and the story and like the driven storytelling going on. The romance should just literally be like a side thing that you're like, ooh, yay, unless you're reading a romance book. Okay, if you have like a strictly romance book, that's what it is.
No, even if I'm reading a romance book, there needs to be story, there needs to be plot.
Then
there has to be something. I guess, I mean, people are like super into the hardcore smut where that's pretty much all there is. I can't do that. Like if there's some smut in the book, that's fine. But like if there's no story.
Well, it's like watching a rom-com versus a porno, you know, like to each their own. But you either want to get straight to the act or you want to have the buildup of stuff. And people are drawn to different things. And I think it's interesting we bring up paranormal and we go straight to the paranormal romance. And for like 30 minutes, that's all we've been talking about.
Well, I mean, I don't think that was the plan, but that's just kind of what happened because they're like, let's talk about it. And there's just so much to talk about with it. Like
there is. Yeah.
I mean, you were bringing up like the trash. You're bringing up the trashier type stuff. And I was trying to find, because I have some that I picked up, I read through, I'm like, man, I'm done with this. You know, the series, for one, the writing was subpar, but it was intended to be trash. It was trash romance type. And, you know, but, you know, it was, I literally bought it, you know, Safeway. So I was like, I'm out of reading material. Oh, this has got, you know, this person who turns into a, you know, a werewolf or whatever, you know, and that sort of stuff. And yeah, it's just.
I'm sorry. We got Dungeon Dan, and then we got Dad going, I like Tarzan, although I'm sure there was a lot. We just didn't read it. I'm sorry.
Like, we're talking.
It was a different vibe.
Londa's like, no, let's stay on the smut, please.
Exactly. She's all, do not stop this conversation right now.
Well, actually, okay, so to Patricia Briggs, she's actually cool, too. One of our viewers actually is on, you know, is able to talk with, you know, the person who works with her and such. Oh, wow. And actually for a little bit, you know, when I was running the Dungeons and Dragons, you know, her niece, nephew, I forget which, you know, we were, you know, included in our game. It was pretty fun. Or granddaughter, grandson, one of the two. But in any case, there's a fan base and such, and our watcher who you know interacts with this person has been trying to write her own stuff, and it's you know, she's been trying to delve into the different fairy in particular fae stuff and create her own. Kind of like how essentially Twilight vampires are basically sparkly fae. In her case, the fae and the stuff that she's developed, they're each of the different paranormal supernatural aspects of them are kind of a virus type basis. The vampires are essentially anemic, and so that's why they've got to drink blood, and things like that. So that's how she's going about it, and she's been interacting with Patricia Briggs and the person who works with her, and so that's really cool that she has this capability, this thing to pull from, and that's pretty cool.
Is that, well, you didn't say names, so I won't say a name. In case you.
But yes, the person that you're thinking of, yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is that person.
Our seasonal visitor.
What's that?
Our seasonal visitor. Kind of.
So.
I think another honorable mention in this particular genre is the Sookie Stackhouse novels.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
I really like those.
Yeah.
And I like the show True Blood that it's based off of, even though it kind of goes on its own thing. But both have the story, and both have a pretty good story going on. And even though the smut is kind of thrown in there a little bit, it's not overpowering. It's not overwhelming. Yeah.
It's never the focus of the book.
Exactly. It's just life, everyone's, well, I was going to say everyone's human, but not in these books. But everyone has animalistic urges, I guess.
I do like that they'll cover certain things too that, would be hard to discuss in, a more realistic setting, in True Blood, Sookie Stackhouse series. The fact that Jason, or not Buffy,
the brother,
Sookie's brother, is kidnapped by these feline wares or whatever.
The werepanthers,
werepanthers.
And against his will, he's having to procreate with them. They're basically raping him, and this is a thing that they're able to kind of show and still discuss, and this is it's a serious issue, but it's broached in a way that can be palatable. So
and in the books, Jason actually does become a werepanther.
Yeah,
and I think because I've been doing a reread of the books along with a watch of the series, and there's also a podcast about the show that Deborah Ann Wool and, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget her last name, but Kristen, she plays Pam. I can't think of her last name right now.
I don't know.
But they host it. So I was like, oh, I'm going obviously I'm going to watch the show while I listen to the podcast. And then my friend was rereading the books. So I was like, okay, I'll reread the books with you. And so I'm kind of in the same place on both right now, season 5 of the series and book 5 of the books. And I'm like, well, this is why, because that's really where the show goes completely in a different direction. Not that the show stuck very strongly to the books before, but it goes in a completely different direction. And I'm like, oh, well, book 5 is literally all about Jason becoming a werepanther. So the show couldn't have done that without actually having the werepanthers biting him working. And they didn't have that work in the show.
Yeah.
So.
Dungeon Dan, I cannot control it.
What does his comment say?
Oh,
the cat butt.
He said sure it's a lot of cat butt.
That's not showing her butt.
Where is Olive?
She's still pouting because I made her dance.
Oh yeah, so Rikki, well, and everyone else pretty much missed it. When Krystal came on the show or came on the webcam behind scenes, I had music playing. I think it was Diva. Yeah.
Yeah, Diva by Beyonce. And Olive was in my seat, so I picked her up and made her dance, and she hasn't talked to me since.
So Londa says it should be Blonde's Books and Cattails. And then Crystal, you should know Amelia Brown right there.
Yeah, hi. Welcome to the show.
Is that a backdoor cat? Oh my God. Dan.
Bro.
I'm about to put like a trigger warning on this show. Okay.
We have been talking about smut for the past 30 minutes.
Yeah, we've talked fairy smut. We've talked paranormal stuff. Thank goodness we didn't get into vampires because I don't think I could handle that right now.
I think that's well overdone.
Yeah, exactly. So we were going to talk about sci-fi, right? Sci-fi. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Fantasy.
Yeah.
Just general fantasy, not romantasy. Okay.
Yeah. So my introduction to fantasy books was actually Piers Anthony. And then Rick, the Dragon Knight series.
Right.
Which I would sneak into Rick's room and I would steal his books. And I think he actually knew I did that every time.
Yeah.
The
George in the Night or the Night in George. I think that was the first one. Yeah, like I'm going to stop you.
I think you actually prepped the next one for me, so I knew what was next in the series.
He's like, okay, well, she's reading this one, so let's make sure that the next one is visible.
Londa, we'll do a little episode just for you sometime, but we gotta try and cover something for everyone here.
Something for everyone.
I did mention the Peter Pan smut, Londa.
She did. We probably didn't even need 2 topics tonight. So fantasy.
Well, mine is actually from this series. Now, I know I've mentioned them before, but Peter Brett, this is actually the Skull Throne in particular. This was the 4th book. But the Warded Man is one of them, the Desert Spear, the Daylight War, and the Core. Basically, this is a world where you have kind of demons. They're from the core of the planet. They come out. They can mist out to the surface of the planet. They're very dangerous. They'll kill you. And they're thematic to where they're at. It's you got water demons, air demons, wood demons, and bog demons, field demons, all these different types of demons. They do different things, and the humans that are there have kind of adapted to this. They've learned warding, which is kind of a type of glyph writing that they can do that will kind of use the demon's own natural essence magic against them, and so they can inscribe things, themselves and weapons and shields and stuff. And that's what's interacting with these demons. Now, when the sunlight comes up, they can't stand it. It'll burn them out and stuff. So they tend to mist away back down to the core of the planet, and there's this rotating, every 1,000 years or something, there'll be a savior type person or a couple of them that will, raise all humanity against these, demons and fight them and take the fight to them by going to the core and things like that. And it's kind of matrixy in the fact that, it's resetting over and over and over and over. But the demons are all aware of this. They've been around for, the millennia. And so they've seen this over and over and over and over. But from the human's perspective, that's not what they're seeing. So, but the idea that you have all these, the magic system is based off of this. This guy created this is pretty cool. They use the demon's bones. They'll encase them and make dice out of it so that they can foretell things, and they can make wands out of them to do certain things, but only when it's dark. If it ever touches the sunlight, then they dissipate. They're gone, and it's all this type of fantasy stuff is pretty cool. The fact that he came up with this own magic and all that.
What's that series again?
Well, The Warded Man is one of the books. It's I don't know about it being you know, I don't know. The Warded Man, Desert Spear, Daylight War, Skull Throne. You know.
Well, is it using like skeletal bones? Well, bones. To tell the future and things like that. Isn't that like a standard magic practice?
Well, sure, you know, but they would, you know, cut them out of the demon bones. You know, they'd make them out of that. You know, but they also can't have any light, so you got to do it in the dark. Which, if you've ever worked in media and photography, you know, and you've had to change film in a dark bag or anything like that, it's not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah, fun though.
Dungeon Dan's all throwing the bones.
Demon bones.
I mean, I think most of the fantasy stuff I've read is smut. I don't know what to tell you. Although I do have a book. I think it's kind of fantasy. I don't know. I haven't started it yet, but it's called When Women Were Dragons, and the women actually used to be dragons in it. So
cool.
I'm pretty excited to read it, but I haven't started it yet, so I don't really have much to say. Kelly Barnhill.
Okay. We have a few comments. Doc, I don't know what that is. If anyone does, I don't.
I'm guessing.
Wait, you want me to back up? What?
I know New Zealand.
Yeah. I know the place. Lana's all Bones in the Dark.
I like Bones in the Dark too, Londa.
Yeah, Jeanette Fitzpatrick is on. She goes, that's some crazy stuff. People have amazing imaginations. I've never read anything like that. I'm a romantic Pride and Prejudice type. You know what? Pride and Prejudice is actually a very classic story, and I freaking love that story.
Like, there's so many like Pride and Prejudice, like what's the word I'm thinking of?
Variations.
Thank you. And oh my gosh, like it's always good.
Yeah.
It really is.
Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies was actually kind of fun.
That was, I mean, yeah, that was a fun night too. So Bethany and I had both, you know, got accepted our first, you know, published works, and you know, it was two different ones, but we both got stuff published, which was cool. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, she comes over and you know, we queue up Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, and I don't know, we had some food and stuff, and we're watching this, and yeah, it was stupid fun.
That's straight up core memory right there.
Yeah.
Both of us got published and we watched Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
I think that's a good way to celebrate. I like it.
I know. Dan said Star Wars is fantasy.
Star Wars is totally fantasy.
Yeah.
You know what fantasy book I read that I hated, but it seems to be super liked? The Mists of Avalon.
I've heard that. Is that no, that's not the one I'm thinking of.
No, you're thinking of like the Crystal Cave and all.
No, I'm thinking of like a corn of wait.
No, it's about Arthur and all those people. But I hated that book. It was horrible.
Okay, not as cool as this, but I hated
that.
So I'm just saying, I'm just trying to think of fantasy books I read, and I'm like, I read that one and I hated it.
I mean, Dungeon Dan, that's a pretty good point. Like, how do you determine how you read the results? You know?
Oh, well, actually, they do kind of go.
You can't touch them. That's a really
they glow and stuff. That's the thing. They glow.
They glow?
Oh, yeah, yeah. And then they're a magic thing, too.
Wouldn't it be like a traditional person nowadays where they're like, ooh, I talk to spirits, and they have like the knocking on the wood and stuff like that? Can't you do that as a bone thrower at that time? Like, make
You're talking about in this particular story series?
I'm just talking in general.
But if they're glowing, then other people are going to be able to see the glow, right?
Yeah, and it will alter its
glowing stuff on them.
Oh, well, in the series, the stuff will alter and change and stuff, and you'll see.
In the series, it's not a scheme. Oh. It's not a scam.
Well, I'm so suspicious. Jeanette's like, I like Star Wars. Londa, I am right there with you. I am right there with the whole Harry Potter.
I have read Harry Potter, yes.
And this,
woo, Dad, yeah, I've seen it. Oh, that one.
A different version of Harry Potter that made you question the decisions in your life. What is this version? I want to know.
There's some out there. I've read them too.
I know. Wait, what?
I'm like, oh, I know that there is a lot of like Harry Potter fanfic out there.
There is.
Yeah.
There is.
That one.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Vampire Hunter. That was a good one. That's a good book too.
Yeah. So you know what? I saw a little meme that had Abraham Lincoln like hunting Edward from Twilight.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the best thing ever. I love that meme.
Oh, you know,
Buffy's
along the lines of Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter, there was one with Queen Victoria, and I think she was killing zombies. She was a zombie.
Nice.
That was a good one. Ooh, it's been years since I read that one. But
I don't know what that's in reference to, Londa. I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up on the comments. And then apparently Krystal hated because there's no smut.
All right, so
the Mist of Avalon? No, yeah. I'm pretty sure there was smut in it. It was just boring, and I just didn't like it.
So I was looking
felt like it was trying too hard. I think that was my issue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. Sorry, I kept interrupting. Sorry.
I think we all are.
Okay, so about the Kira Ora and Kira Ora actually is from the Maori language in New Zealand, and it translates literally as "have life" or "be healthy." You know, wishing someone the essence of life upon them from one speaker to the other, that sort of thing. But there was like an incident that took place in 1984 at the time when the use of Maori phrases was uncommon in New Zealand. Mm-hmm. That, you know, the Auckland telephone operator was instructed to stop using Kira Ora when greeting callers after the post office had received a complaint. That'd be like some Karen telling, you know, you in Okinawa not to say mushi mushi on the phone, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. But I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming, was it Dan, Dungeon Dan or something, who was referencing a book series or something. Rotorua. Rotorua is New Zealand's oldest tourism destination. So I'm not seeing anything that would reference any books or stories or paranormal activity or anything off that. So I'm not entirely certain what they were referencing. What Doc Freed was referencing on there.
Hold on. Speaking of paranormal in New Zealand, there's a TV show, a New Zealand TV show. Hold on. Wellington Paranormal.
What?
It's a comedy show, but it's a New Zealand sitcom, but it's like cops meets paranormal, like a ghost hunting show. And it's hilarious. So talking about like fantasy in New Zealand, Wellington Paranormal, I think it's on Max, and it's so funny.
I want to give Jeanette enough time to answer this before we end our show.
Okay.
She goes, what's the first book to get into? Okay, hold on. Are you talking like fairy smut? Are you talking fantasy? Are you talking paranormal? What are you looking for? And we'll put our recommendations in. Dad already did. He goes Tarzan of the Apes. But yeah, Jeanette, what are you looking for?
What I'm talking about. Wellington Paranormal. So funny. If you're looking,
sorry. The fact that these two know each other.
Okay, so for Jeanette, because she's not super into the smut, I think The Women of the Other World would be a good one.
I think that would be a pretty cool one too. There's a little bit of smut, but it's not taking over the whole story.
Yeah,
the Patricia Briggs stuff is worth reading as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who does the she's, oh my gosh, she has like a fairy sidekick and she lives with a witch.
That might also be the Patricia Briggs. What?
What?
No.
What, Krystal?
A fairy sidekick, and she's a witch that lives with a vampire, and they live in a
Yes.
church.
Yes.
That's Kim Harrison.
Yes,
Oh.
Kim Harrison. I like that series because there's not a lot of smut.
It's Dead Witch Walking. Mm-hmm.
What?
Dead Witch Walking is the first one in that one.
Yes. Jeanette, I recommend that one. And I'm Kim Harrison, if you ever go to the Festival of Books that comes to Tucson, oftentimes she's there. So she'll be there. You can get her first book. She'll sign it for you. She's like a really cool person. She's on a lot of like a little talks that they do there at Festival of Books here in Tucson. Yeah. Oh, that's Kim. Yeah. She's all Briggs comparison.
But as far as the Patricia Briggs, it's more than just that too. I'm sorry, Krystal, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, well, Jeanette asked if it was Patricia Biggs, and I said it's Patricia Briggs.
Yeah, with an R.
Yeah, R.
Aren't you glad we told you? So she does more than just the Mercy Thompson series. She also has the Hop's Bargain and such, which was what actually I was thinking of, because it's a witch who has this demonic duck or goose. You never,
duck?
Yeah, you never. It's her familiar, and you never see it do anything. But off screen in the story, it's apparently a terror.
Okay, I thought of another good one. Dead Girls Are Easy by Terry Gary. It's really good.
As opposed to Earth Girls Are Easy by
Tim
Carey and Jeff Goldblum.
There's not any necrophilia in this, no matter how it sounds by the title. And it's not very smutty either. Anyway, sorry. I did not mean to interrupt. I just got so distracted. Okay.
Hey, Olive's back on the bed.
Yes.
I'm sorry, my battery's dying. I'm trying to save it. Hold on. Since I'm kind of, managing the show here. Give me a moment here. Okay. Sleeping Beauty by Anne Rice is what Alan says.
Oh, that's so smutty. Don't. That's so
Anne Rice stuff can be.
No, like she wrote that.
And all that.
She wrote that under a pseudonym, and it's the dirtiest thing I've ever read in my life, and I had to go take a bath afterward. I felt so gross.
And not the fun bath, but like the cleaning bath.
Yeah, like I need to be cleaned.
And of course we got Dungeon Dan over here with the fucking Rap by the Witch of the Room.
Like, yeah.
Why?
My Anne Rice goes beyond. That one might have scarred me a little bit.
So the Edgar Rice Burroughs did do Tarzan. He also did John Carter of Mars and a couple other ones. His son, I think, picked it up after he had passed away, went through some of his notes and stuff and tried to complete a couple of the different stories as well. So it wasn't as good.
I had high hopes for John Carter of Mars.
What's that?
I had high hopes for the movie of John Carter.
Well, I mean, yeah. They're making a movie out of a book series. Come on.
Okay, but they have done successful book series movies, like where they coincide and they're fun. You accept them, but like that one was rough.
My biggest thing when I'm watching a movie or a TV series that's based off of a book is I just drop all my expectations before watching it and try not to have any, because like there's no way it's going to be able to include everything.
Yeah.
And like if I held True Blood to the books, I'd hate the show. But I'm like, the show's good for what it is, but you just can't compare it to the books.
That's the thing. It's so hard to take a movie or a show and compare it to the books. You can't do that. Like you cannot do that. You have to look at every single one of them as separate entities.
It's really hard to get inside their head. And, in the 70s and such, they would do that with different shows. You would hear this over, this narration overhand, going through or I'm trying to think. What was that stupid sci-fi spoof with Queen doing the soundtrack? Flash Gordon, there's scenes and stuff where they're talking and stuff and trying to get in their head and actually it was the sex scene, but so speaking of smut,
Can't escape it.
We just can't get away from it this episode. Sorry.
It's gonna happen.
It's Flash Gordon.
What's up,
Come
Mom
on.
and Dad? Hey.
So, I remember the Bethany, you and I went to see one of the Lord of the Rings movies. I don't remember which one, with a couple of friends. And we walked out, and one of the guys was just like, they left all this stuff out. And I'm like, the movie was 3 hours long. Like, you can only make the movie so long. Like, they're not going
What
to
did you expect?
Yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh. I was like, why? I'm
The
like,
book was over 3 hours long.
yeah, I'm like, they can only fit so much in. Like, I wouldn't have been able to sit through that movie for any longer. Like, 3 hours was long enough, you know?
See,
Although,
John
here's
told me
the thing.
about. Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say along those lines, when we went to go, well, I don't think you and I did, but I went to go see Return of the King, and somebody actually dressed up as Elvis for Return of the King, and I thought that was like the best thing ever.
Oh, Bubba Hotep.
Oh my god! Don't even start.
I don't even know if it was a book, but I mean,
It wasn't. It was just a movie, but it was Bruce Campbell.
Okay, I haven't seen that one. But,
it's dumb.
somebody dressing as Elvis, and then you saying Bubba, going back to Cookie Stackhouse. Elvis is a character in the books, but he doesn't know who he is, so they call him Bubba.
It's think of like Army of Darkness battles a zombie.
A
And
mummy. A mummy.
A mummy.
In-
I'm sorry.
In a
sorry.
retirement home.
In a retirement home.
Yeah,
Battling
yeah.
Mummy in a retirement home. I like it.
So
Okay.
yeah, so the Bruce Campbell Elvis King, you know, was probably an Elvis impersonator. Maybe he was the real one. You know, we
You
don't
never
know. He doesn't know. And then you have Jimmy Carter, who is his best friend. Who plays him? African American guy.
Oh, okay.
That does not narrow it down in the slightest.
I know, but that's the whole point. It's the whole, you know, it's like, well, Jimmy Carter? You sure?
I'm gonna look it up.
So Jimmy
yeah.
Carter was being played by an African American guy?
Well,
and so all you remember is
No.
I
that
was claiming that's who he was, you know.
Okay,
I'm so
Ossie
confused.
Davis.
I think I need to find this movie because it sounds absolutely ridiculous. And
It
if
is.
there's
It is
something I love,
ridiculous.
it's a ridiculous movie.
Are you thinking of Ossie Davis, this guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jimmy
that
Carter.
black guy. Oh my
Just-
god.
So, like, just if he was African American, like that says anything. It says nothing.
It was the whole point that, you know, Jimmy Carter wasn't, you know, and so that was, he thought he was. But yeah, Bubba Hotep, being this mummy, wakes up in this retirement community. He's like being transported or something like that. And, you know, he's stealing souls or killing off the old people that are there and that sort of thing. And so, you know, the two main protagonists have to go stop him. Yeah, him.
Sorry.
Thank you, Londa.
So back to Lord of the Rings. John was telling me about how, you know, in I think Texas, the kind of a Roadhouse cinema style. Yeah. So every time that they ate food or there was food involved, they would serve the food as part of this, and it was a marathon, like 12-hour event. You know, as we watched all three and that sort of thing.
Okay,
So,
that's actually pretty cool. Like, especially with like how obsessed with food the hobbits are.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
then, like,
so they would have apples and lamb
yeah,
spread
so it's
and
like,
all that.
here's food to go along with the movie. That's pretty cool. I like it.
Dungeon Damsel. Are we still talking about smut books?
I don't think so. I think the smut left a few minutes ago.
The smut has left the building.
Yeah, we did a
I
solid
mean,
like.
the smut keeps coming back up, but it's been a few minutes since we've
It
discussed
does that.
I think Dungeon Dance is bored. He wants something smut like.
He's like, I don't want. He's like, I don't read smut.
But I will now. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we've talked well, I mean, I feel like we talked paranormal romance.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. He's gone. He went to bed.
There's some cat. Well, there's a cat cleaning her butt. Well,
there you go. There's Olive. There you go.
There you go.
There's your cat smut right there.
There you go. It's not cat butt, but she's definitely cleaning her butt.
Diving in deep on that.
Her butt gets dirty.
Oh my goodness. I don't know where to go. I love how the end of our shows, I just don't know how to end them because everyone just goes so far out of the way. You can only stay out of the color of a smut.
It's right. But that's why we love our audience, because they will just dive deep into it with us, except for Dungeon Dan. He doesn't want the smut. But
I know.
You know what? That's fine.
Dad, I'll call you later.
I can message you with all the smutty books that Bethany doesn't want you to read.
I'm sure they've got them on the audio
daughter
book.
text and your daughter's best friend text.
I'm sure they're on audiobook too, so Dan,
while
you're driving,
posting that comment that you just put.
Oh no, I have to see it now. Hold on, my face is about to get super whited out.
No.
That's
a late night episode of
Blonde's Books. Whoa! The cat's back there, sir, and we're not. No. Going back to not whiting out my face. Thanks.
Well, do you guys have anything coming up at all? I don't know. Krystal, are you still doing the Mystery Mayhem?
So, no, because I just don't have time. My job takes up a lot of my time, but it doesn't give me a lot of money, so I'm looking for a second job right now.
Oh, wow.
So,
because you work a lot at your job.
I know. I really don't know how I'm going to fit in another job.
Rachel, you're they're
right there.
Herself too. Rikki, you have some charity stuff coming up, right?
Yeah. This year I am doing 4 sessions of Dungeons and Dragons down in Tucson, and it's a charity event. So people come play Dungeons and Dragons, and it's pay to play and pay to win. So there's plenty of things to spend money on, and you can buy things in the game to play to boost your characters and all that. You can also join in for the raffle that they have. So, and a friend of mine is bringing in Dungeons and Dragons themed baked goods. So I think she's making little gelatinous shots and little slip spiders and stuff like that. So yeah,
I like how you said gelatinous instead of using the technically brand name but word that everybody uses anyway.
Well, gelatinous cubes are a monster of Dungeons and Dragons. So
okay.
Oh yeah. Is it the bard who seduces people with their singing?
Well, they tend to be that way, yes, because they're charisma based,
You should have the bard cupcakes or something like that, something.
Well, one of the first thoughts that we had were little donuts, and they were going to be thematic. I'd have to look for those, but you had the sinfully delightful, warlock ones. You had the angel cake ones for the paladins, and things like that. It was all sorts of different flavors for each of the different classes.
Nice.
I like it.
Do you guys have anything else going on?
You have something coming up.
I do. I was Googling it real quick because I forgot the name of it.
Are you talking about the...
I have the Wild Wild West Con coming up. That the theme is Steampunk Halloween. It's going to be in Tucson at one of the casinos. March 20th through 23rd is what I requested off. So it's during that time period. So I will have a table there. I will have my books. Krystal's going to send me a couple of her handmade items so we can sell some of her stuff. We're going to promote the show. We're going to promote my books. I'm going to have little grab bags, goodies, all sorts of fun stuff, keychains, whole bunch of things. So if anyone's in Tucson during that time, come down and see me. Let me know that you watch us on the show, and I will give you a special gift. So lots of fun stuff. Dan, we're way past that.
Snack foods.
Keep up.
Snack foods? Oh, wait.
They were already here.
I already showed Rachel my kitty.
I know. Indy went to bed. Sherlock went to bed. Actually, Sherlock's still here. I don't know, but I can't show him on camera because he'll run and hide. Thank you guys, everyone, for joining us today. I think for like a random put together episode, I think we did pretty well. We talked about our favorite fantasy books, our favorite paranormal books, mostly kind of dived into the smut stuff. I don't know what that says about us.
Smut. I'm sorry.
Smut.
Jeanette, I'm going to have to look online. I'll just send you a message on that. I'm sure there's info, but I don't have time to look it up right at the exact moment right now and do this at the same time.
We will announce it again before it happens.
Yeah, at a heart, I'm a blonde and I can't do two things at once. So anyway, thank you everyone for joining us. We will see you in 2 weeks. We will figure out our topic. If you guys have any requests or anything like that, definitely send them our way. We will definitely try and get everything in that we can for you guys. But thank you everyone for joining us. We're so happy to have everyone here. I think tonight was a really fun episode, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. All right.
2 weeks.
Bye, guys.